Oh, hi guys! Welcome to another episode of the 1994 Mazda Miata behind me. I hope that you can see it in the Rusty Beauty's garage. So, I'm alone. The owner of the car who I was supposed to help finish it is back to school. So it is October, early October. Nick is back to school, spending 12 days out of 14 with his mom, because that's where his school is. And I'm here on my own finishing his car, because now that we brought it to this stage, I can't just take it outside. It needs to be painted, right? What I'm doing today is I'm working on this piece, which is cracked and all that. I'm pretty sure we can find one cheap somewhere, but you know what? For what it's worth, I patched it a little bit. So what I did, I regret not filming that actually, because I thought it was pretty cool after I've done it. I made myself staples out of some stainless wire that I found, and I heated them with the torch, and I literally stapled the cracks in few places. I also took my soldering iron and I heated them to a point where they sunk a little bit into the plastic, and that worked pretty well. It became a nice and solid piece. Somebody has tried to repair it in the past in the back with just body filler, but that didn't hold much. Hopefully what I did is gonna hold, so I'm just putting now body filler over the cracks, and that's all. In the meantime, I'm also washing his carpet, because it sat for 2 years, 3 years, I don't know how long, inside this shed, and my cat, my outdoor cat, decided that this is a perfect bed. So never mind that she was sleeping in it, and look, I can't even vacuum the hairs from it, but okay, she was sleeping in it, that's fine, but why did she need to pee in it? Who pees in their bed? So I washed it. Hopefully it's gonna get rid of the stink. If not, I'm gonna have to figure out something else. But I figured, while the weather is still nice, actually it's perfect day for October, I figured I should do this. The car, in the previous episode you saw, I sprayed it again in epoxy primer, and then Nick spent a weekend sanding it, and I sanded a little bit. So now it is sanded with 300, and it's ready for polyester primer. So once I'm done with this, I'm gonna bring it down. I'm gonna take again the doors off and everything. I put them back just so they can be stored easily. But now I'm gonna take them out again, and I'm gonna start masking, and hopefully tomorrow's Saturday, Nick is not here again, but everybody else also is gone, so I'm gonna be totally on my own, and the weather is promising to be nice, so maybe tomorrow we can spray the polyester primer. Maybe again I can put her outside and spray her there with the polyester primer. So I'm not worried too much about bugs and stuff, because it's gonna be sanded before the paint. For the final paint, of course, we're gonna do it inside here in our booth that I keep threatening to build. Anyway, that's the plan for today. If I can finish this piece, take the car apart, sand some edges that weren't accessible while the car was assembled, and then if I'm able to mask it or mask most of it so I can spray it tomorrow, that would be great. But yeah, have kids, they say. It's fun. Alright, it's Saturday today. There was absolutely nobody home, and I was able to focus on this car and spray the polyester primer. As you can see, it's getting dark outside. The last 1 hour I spent cleaning the gun, it was disaster here. But you can see now, earlier today I sprayed the trunk lid, the two fenders, the whatever this part is called, and the headlight covers. So that was the first batch that I did. Then I had to take the car out and mask it, and then I sprayed the car, the rear bumper, and the two doors. And luckily I was able to do everything before it got dark. So yeah, I didn't expect to spend the whole day, but it took longer because the gun wasn't working properly. So this is the polyester primer. It's pretty thick, and the gun kept clogging. This is 2.3, I believe. I borrowed this from Chef Tash, and it was giving me lots of trouble. So I actually ended up giving up on some of the primer because I had to stop and clean the gun, and this just hardened in the meantime. But I had no other option. Anyway, it's a mess outside, so I'm gonna go clean up now, put the car inside. There's also customers' cars that are parked on my driveway, so we don't overspray them. And I'm gonna have to bring everything inside, and then I'm gonna go have a beer. I'm gonna have a evening on my own. Everybody is in different places for the weekend. It's only me and Rusty home, so I'm gonna go enjoy a nice salad and a beer. Well, that's a first. I've never stacked cars like that before. That's cool. All right. It's a few months later, and as you can see, it's winter outside, but finally, after months and months of not doing anything on the car, today it's almost Christmas actually, so Nick is kind of in a break, so he decided to finally do some work on the car. So we have our dusty boot or dust boot set up. I mean, we only have today to work a little bit, then we're gonna go somewhere for Christmas, but when we come back, we're gonna make this bigger so we can sand in a bigger boot. But for now, Nick is gonna bring some parts and he's gonna start sanding inside here, which actually looks nice and cozy inside. Let me show you. It's not bad. The magnets that I bought work fantastic. You can see how it is everywhere. So of course it's not perfectly sealed, but for after, when we set it up on the other side, we might make it a little bit better sealed. But for now, Nick can start sanding here without making a mess in my shop. Yeah, play with magnets.
I'm gonna make them touch.
Yeah, you're not strong enough. They're fighting you. All right, so it's a little bit dark here. I don't have any lights, but we might bring one. I don't know, we'll see. So let's bring some panels and Nick can start sanding. Okay, it's weeks later. I know that we are showing you very, very little of the work on the car, but the work continues. At that time when Nick had the smaller boot here, he did the boot lid and a little bit of one fender, and then on Christmas Eve he cut his hand. He injured his hand with a broken plate, not in the garage, so he couldn't work anymore. Look at that. But it is mid-January now, and we have a weekend on our own here. Everybody else is in different places, so look what we did. We masked the whole garage, and now we're gonna work entire weekend. What we're doing is we're sanding the polyester primer with 320 sandpaper, and then with some other time, I guess, we're gonna do 600 wet, and it's gonna be ready for paint. But we're hoping this weekend at least to do the 320. Anyway, Nick is one-handed. His hand is still not healed properly, so he's using one hand. So, well, we're gonna do as much as we can, but I just wanted to show you the garage, what it looks like with all the masked out. All right, it's the end of the weekend now. Sunday, and Nick already went to shower because he needs to leave. He needs to go to his mom's. But we are happy. We were able to do what we planned to do, and even included a nice dinner with Chef Tash last night. We went out, and yeah, everything is sanded with 320. Everything, like everything that is gonna be painted. and even the door jambs, the doors inside, and everywhere. In some spots and edges, we actually run to bare metal. So I went around, like here, for example. I don't know if you see it, but I went around and I sprayed a little bit of self-etching high build primer in a can, like this one. So I'm gonna let it cure, and tomorrow I'm gonna have to do a little bit of sanding in the morning, just these areas, and then I'm gonna put everything away. But I'm happy. Bumpers, everything. The doors, when I was spraying the epoxy primer, I made a boo-boo here, like all over, because I thought they were dry. Both doors, actually. I did the same thing on both doors. I thought they were dry, and I grabbed them to bring them inside, but the temperatures were dropping because it was the end of the day, and it didn't cure. Like during the day, all the parts were drying for like 10-15 minutes. They were safe to carry around. In the evening, when the temperatures dropped down, the doors turned out to be a problem. I mean, I thought they were dry already, and they weren't. So I made a boo-boo here and here, and on the other door I already fixed it actually, so it worked well. Here I just built with high build primer, and I'm gonna sand it tomorrow. But let's see if I can show you the other door here. I don't know if you can see it, but right here there was a big issue, and here I had a dent, which I did myself. I dropped the door a little bit. It slid on me. So right here and right here, there were dents. So here I actually had to do body filler and then high build primer and then sand it again. But it worked pretty well. But here where I made the boo-boo, it got fixed just with high build primer. So I'm sure that this is gonna get fixed as well tomorrow. Like I sprayed probably 4 or 5 coats of primer here and here, and the trunk lid, it had bare metal here and all over here. This is the first part that Nick sanded, and he just didn't realize that he was making a mess, so he went to bare metal there. Anyways, and in this little corner. So yeah, that's where we are. All right, it's a few days later, and I was finally able to clean up the shop. It was such a weekend. We had to move lots of things in the shop so we can work properly here and make our sanding booth, but it worked well. I'm happy with the progress. Now she's tucked away pretty nicely with under this other car that is waiting for parts. So now I have space here to work on something else. I don't know how long this video is gonna be, because I don't even know when it started. I think the first part of this video was shot like 3 months ago or something like that. Definitely it was still warm outside because I was painting outside, and it is January now. So anyways, Nick is not here, of course, but I'm hoping that soon we're gonna be able to dedicate a weekend again to this car and do the wet sanding, so we can get it ready for paint for real. So that's what we need, 2 full weekends. One to do the wet sanding, and then another weekend hopefully to mask and paint everything. When is that gonna happen? I don't know. I mean, the wet sanding is easy. We don't need a lot of preparation for the wet sanding because now it's not gonna be dusty. We don't need to put curtains or anything. We can just sand every once in a while even. But for the painting, again, we're gonna have to reorganize the shop big time, put curtains everywhere, take away everything that's in the way, and dedicate an entire weekend or a few days to that. So we will see how that's gonna happen. But anyways, we're gonna put an end to this video here. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thanks for commenting, subscribing, sharing, and supporting the channel. This is highly appreciated. Stay tuned for more on the Mazda or on the other cars that are here. If you're here only for the Mazda, you have to know that we have lots of Triumphs that we work on. So stay tuned for also Triumph videos. Thank you, guys. We will see you in the next one. Bye.